Hey there, guys. How you doing? Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, and just want to let you know that I'm getting better every day. I'm healing. Went to my first outpatient physical therapy today, and I did a lot of exercises that I didn't expect I could do, but luckily I can, and I'm excited. So I'm getting better. And if any one of you guys decides to go into this surgery, know that all your pain will go away. I had hip replacement surgery, total hip replacement, and your pain will go away. That pain that you were living with and struggling with every day to do basic things like bend over, pick something up, put on your clothes, get up out of bed, get up out of a chair, get in and out of a chair, and all these types of things, into a car and get out of a car. If you're struggling with all those things and you find out, they do x-rays and they find out it's your hips, and you do this surgery, you will be pleasantly surprised, or you can be pretty much guaranteed that that pain that you were suffering with, that constant ache, you know, and that danger of a more severe injury from twisting it or stretching it will be gone. You won't deal with that. You will deal with the need to rebuild the muscles in that area a little bit, and that is a slower process. The pain is minimal, so you're definitely not in pain, but it's just a frustration of having to go through the steps to strengthen your leg again and to make your new hip do what your old hip did, which it can and better, right? This is a brand new hip. This is like you replacing, the tires on your car or anything like that. You're going to have new tires and they're going to do what you need them to do. So this new hip is going to do everything it needs to do. The surgery is pretty much painless, and you will be back on track to really, really enjoy everything that you do 100 times more once the physical therapy part of it is pretty much completed. I'm in my third week, my first day of outpatient physical therapy, and I feel like really believe it or not, from yesterday, I feel 99% better. I did things with my leg that I didn't think I could do, but under the supervision of trained professionals, they encourage you to do certain things without pushing you, just kind of you feeling it, but they say it's okay to do it. You can try it, and it's great. It makes a huge difference. So that's all I wanted to say about my surgery. So I know that hip surgery is good and knee surgery is good, and the surgery really is pretty much painless. It is, there's some soreness is what you're dealing with after the surgery, pretty much. But if you take acetaminophen, you won't have any problem with that. And let's get down to baseball stuff. Let's play some Fall Classic Baseball, replaying the 1990 Reds. Um, and remember to check Universal Baseball Association with updates. Also, the Fall Classic Facebook group for updates. So both on Facebook. If you're not part, you should become part of those great groups. A lot of fun and a lot of interesting information constantly. Um, so check that out. Now, the Cincinnati Reds, 1990. We are, I think it's May 31st, I believe. And May 30th, does May have, wait, January, February, March, April. May has 31. So I think this is the 31st of May. We're playing New York let me see, I can tell you what day it is. Hold on a second. To my left, I have the Stratomatic, which I'm using to keep the stats. It's the 29th of May. They're playing a one game. It was probably a two-game set in Cincinnati against New York, but probably one of the games got rained out. So it's going to be a one game versus the Mets at Cincinnati, and the Mets are 27-15. The Pirates are 4.5 games behind. The Reds are in first place as well, 27-13. LA is 4.4 games behind, and the Reds have been on a tear as of late. So that's all I can tell you. Let's play some ball. All right. One pitcher, Bobby Ojeda is an A. He's a left-hander, and Tom Browning is a B. also left-hander Greg Jeffries, the second baseman, center fielder Keith Miller, Tim Tuffle batting third at third base, Kevin McReynolds, left fielder cleanup, batting fifth is Strawberry, the right fielder, sixth is Mike Marshall, the first baseman, Elster, the shortstop, seventh, eighth is Todd Hundley, the catcher, ninth is Bobby Ojeda. For the Reds, it's Sabo, the third baseman, Hatcher in center field, Larkin, the shortstop, Davis in left field. I thought he was the center fielder, but they have Hatcher in center field. Benzinger batting fifth, playing first base. O'Neill, the right fielder. Joe Oliver, the catcher. Quinones, the second baseman, and Tom Browning, pitcher. Let's play ball. Let's have some fun. Let's do it. Super easy game to play. It's a 12, and the 12 is going to be an out. The 5, the D25. Let me see if I can get that a little bit more into this. Here, what I have here are the hitters and the pitchers for the Mets. I leave them right kind of in front of me right now. That's the setup I have going right here. And you can probably see there you go, a little bit better. All right, you see it's a 12, and that tells me it's an out on the batter's card. And then the, what did I just say it was? Well, now it's a 1. A 1 will be to the pitcher, right, tapper right back to the mound, picked up by Browning, and he throws out Jeffries. So that's 1 down. Keith Miller is he's a 258 hitter with 1 home run, 233 at bats, so not much power at all. And it's a 55. That's going to be laced for a single. So he's on with a single. And it's going to be a stolen base. There he goes. The throw down, not in time. So he steals second. The plus sign on the single tells me he steals. It's a system that works extremely well. And you'll have very realistic stolen base numbers and caught stealings as well with this game. This game does it all. Very realistic wild pitches, hit by pitch, pass balls, errors, assists. It does all that right on the money. So you'll get a very large variety of type of outs. You know, you'll have lineouts to outfield, lineouts to infield, pop-ups to all the different fielders. It's very well balanced. Tim Tuffle. Runner on second, a 45 will be a fly ball. He's a righty, so that'll be a fly ball to left. Nobody advances on that. Because Tom Browning is a fly ball pitcher, so you will get, so 45 was a blank. So then I went to the pitcher, and it says out, but it's a fly out. And since he's a righty, he flied out to left. So with 2 outs, runner on second, here's Kevin McReynolds, the pitch from Browning. And that's a 56, struck him out, and that retires the side. So gives up a hit, no runs, and we move to the bottom of the first inning. No score with the Reds coming to bat. Chris Sabo. And a 55, and that's going to be a drive down the line, and that's going to be into the corner and played off the wall by McReynolds, who gets it into second base, but Sabo's in there standing with a double. So he laced one, or lined one to left, and played nicely off the carom by Kevin McReynolds. And here's Billy Hatcher. And it's a 52 with an 8. Now that's going to be an error check. What I do for this is I just pull a card. My 52 says pitcher error. Bobby Ojeda has a high error number, so that means he committed plenty of errors, and he's going to boot it. It's going to be a 1-base error, so it's an E1, and that's going to send Sabo to third. So it's first and third now for the Reds. Billy Hatcher is on at first. On a third is Sabo and Barry Larkin. And we're just going to play infield halfway, looking for double play, trying to prevent the big inning. And it's a 56, strike 3. And Ojeda gets the call. Barry Larkin doesn't like it, heads back to the bench. And muttering to himself, not happy with that call. Eric Davis now with first and third. Here's the pitch to Eric Davis. And that's a 46 with a 1. That's a deep drive. Gets a hold of it way back into the seats for a 3-run blast. That's off the ballpark card. Home run for Eric Davis. He hit 24 home runs. 3-0 lead for the Reds. Bobby Ojeda wishes he had that pitch back. And it's a 43. It'll be an out. It'll be bounced to second base, scooped up by second baseman Jeffries. Over to first. 2 down. And here's Paul O'Neill. Pitch to O'Neill. That's a 31. That's bounced up the middle and through. Nobody can get to it. So it's a 2-out single for O'Neill. He's on at first. Next is Joe Oliver. I write down Joe Oliver's number because this is a guy who batted 231. He's batting 400 with me. His card has no hits on it. Okay, basically he gets good hits against lefty pitchers. On 25, he's good versus lefties, but that's really all he has. He has very minimal ability to get hits, yet no matter what, I roll hits on his card every single time. It's hilarious. Just checking one thing, Eric Davis. Yeah. All right, so here's a pitch. And the 22 will be an out. That'll be popped up right side, deep enough for Strawberry to come in and get to. So it's 3 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits, and it's going to be 3-zip Reds. And what do we roll? We roll a 22 for Oliver. All right. So you know that dice play a big part of these games because the guy has literally like 2 or 3 hit numbers on his whole card, and I roll those 3 numbers all the time. All right. Here goes. Here's Darryl Strawberry, pitch from Browning with a 54. That's a special 54 chart. And it tells us to go to Wilder, and Wilder is going to say popped up with an error possibility. The 16 is going to be too high. It's going to be a popped up foul out to the catcher. So Strawberry swings at the first pitch and pops it up and foul ground. Catcher makes it there and holds on to it. Mike Marshall is next with a 26, and against a lefty that is pulled and a fair ball, but left fielder gets to it. Yep. So they hold him to a single. So Marshall is in there with a splits hit. Here is Kevin Elster, and a 41. It'll be ball 4. That's a walk. So with 1 out, the Mets have a little something going here. Remember the Mets are a first place team. They won. I believe they won 90 games in 1990. I believe you can double check that, but from memory. Todd Hundley, switch hitter. He bats from the right side. Not a very good hitter. Batted 209. See what happens. A 36 will be a base hit. Not a good hitter, but against Browning gave up a lot of hits. And a runner on second base. There's going to be an assist. The center fielder Hatcher. So there's going to be a play at the plate, and then the runners will take an extra base. And Hatcher is a 3. So 1, 2, 3, and he is out, and the tag, and he is out at the plate. They got him. So it's going to be a single. Advances, goes to third on the throw. And he is out. I wrote that he scored. He did not score. He is out, and it was 8-2. Great throw by Hatcher. And here comes the pitcher, Ojeda. Browning sets and deals. And that's a 34, and that's going to be a bouncer and through into right field. Just made it past the diving second baseman, Quinones. And with a runner at second and third, they could risk second to home. But they're not going to risk. They're going to hold up with 1. There's 2 outs. You know what? They're going to risk. 2 outs are going to risk. So we need a 1, 2, 3, and he is out at the plate, and it's a 4. He is safe. So 2-run single, and the game is tied. And runner will hold on this. Is the game tied? No. The game is not tied. So it's 3-2. 3-2. And here comes the top of the order. Greg Jeffries. Pitch from Browning, and it's a 15. That'll be a bouncer to the third baseman. Sabo up with it. Fires a strike to Benzinger. And 2 runs come in on 3 hits, 3 singles. Excuse me. Go to the bottom of the second. Quinones is up. Pitch from Ojeda. 21, strike 3. Heads back to the bench. Next is the pitcher, Browning. Browning with a 25, and he bounces one to first. And that is first baseman Marshall makes the play, steps on the bag. And Sabo with 2 outs, 63, and that'll be a bouncer to second base. Jeffries up with it, 3 up and 3 down. Super easy and fast inning. That's a lot like, that reminds me a lot like Appa. Appa has those innings where it's like 1, 2, 3. And here is Keith Miller, 53 with a 19. Oh, that's going to be a range hit. Nobody's going to get to that. That's down the line and past the diving third baseman into left field, played by the left fielder Davis, who gets it in quickly. Now there's a chance for an error on the left fielder, and that 19 will be no error there. So it's a single, leadoff single for Keith Miller. Next is Tim Tuffle. Pitch, and a snake eyes is going to be a fly ball center field. Hatcher over, settles under it, makes the catch, 1 down. Kevin McReynolds, he's a hit and run guy, so we're going to try to hit and run. There he goes, and a 5 is going to be a ground ball to first base. No chance for the runner at second because he was on the move. So now we got a runner in scoring position, and what I write in the box here is how he got to second, because I input this data later. So number 4th place batter got him to second base. And here's Darryl Strawberry with a 52 and a 1, struck him out, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we go to bottom of the 3rd. Who's coming up? Hatcher, Larkin, and Eric Davis. Ojeda with a pitch, and a 32 will be a pop-up right in front of the mound, and the catcher calls off Ojeda, who made somewhat of an effort of making the catch, but the catcher said no, 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 and Hundley made the catch right in front of the mound. Here's Larkin with a 54 chart. That's going to be a check for the error left field, and that'll be a running catch by McReynolds. No way McReynolds, yeah, he's a 2 error. I rolled an 18. Oh, I should have made a 7. There you go. All right, so 2 out. And up is Eric Davis. Bobby Ojeda winds and deals a 46 and a 7, and that's foul ball. Pulled it foul into the seats. Again, Ojeda with the pitch, a 63, and that's bounced to second base. Jeffries over to Marshall, and that retires the side. All right, we go top of the 4th, all 3-2. Reds lead it. Reds picked up 3 runs in the first on the 3-run blast by Eric Davis. And Mike Marshall is up next. Marshall, Elster, and Hundley. With a 44, and that's line base hit. Rips it to center, Mike Marshall. A rope. And here's Elster. And we're going to try bunting. Elster, not a great bunter, but he strikes out trying to bunts it foul. So I'm not going to bunt with him anymore. Todd Hundley's next, and Hundley will swing away with a 63, and that is line to the first. He's a left. He's batting righty. Line to third base on a 2 or a 12. It's a double play, and it's not. And here comes Bobby Ojeda with 2 out and 1 on. Mike Marshall goes on contact. Here's the pitch to Ojeda, 66, and that's going to be a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders. Will Marshall score? There's going to be a play with 2 outs. There's a play by the left fielder. Our left fielder, Davis, is Davis. That's going to be a play at the plate. And here is the relay, and he is out. 7. We'll do 7-6-2. And out at the plate, and that ends the inning. So no runs, 2 hits, 2 left. And no, 1 left, excuse me. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Yeah, Eric Davis had a ton of assists from left field. Yeah, he had a ton of assists from left field. Not so many from center field, and he never played right field. So when he plays left field, he has a huge advantage on those assist plays. And that's where they pick up their assist numbers. And those assist numbers come out very, very realistically. It's very nice. to have those. When I did multiple replays already with the Mets and with the Oakland A's, the Billy Martin A's, and so on and so forth, and it's very, very well done. And it's really the only game that I know that's going to give you those realistic assists. And some guys say, well, you're forcing me to go when I don't want to go. Well, not always. You can actually, in certain innings and certain scores, you can hold up and play it safe. But you're not really supposed to do it. This type of role, the assist role, is a role that represents the player making a decision on his own and trying to stretch it. And I'll do that up to the 8th inning, and after the 8th inning, I'll play it safe. So before that, it's just the player saying, I can make it, and running through the stop sign or whatever it is. Or maybe the third base coach just making the mistake of saying, yeah, you can make it, and all of a sudden it's like this perfect throw, that sort of thing. So here's Todd Benzinger. Benzinger is 0 for 1, and that's a 54 chart. That's line base hit. There could be an error on the right fielder this time. And Strawberry, he makes the play. He bobbles it for a split second, but Benzinger does not take the extra base, so he's on at first. Here's Paul O'Neill. And Paul O'Neill with a 14, and that's going to be right hit back to the pitcher. Ojeda goes to second for 1, back to Marshall, and it's a 1-6-3 double play. 2 out, nobody on. And here's Oliver with a 24. That's a hit by pitch, but nope, with a 17, that's a fly ball. It's a check hit by pitch, but there's no hit by pitch there. And that retires the side. So no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Top of the 5th, here we come. Halfway point, I guess. Greg Jeffries leading off at the top of the order. Tom Browning checks in, winds and deals, and lets it fly. And Jeffries lines it to center for a single. And he will the throw over, and he's picked off. So he gets picked off by Tom Browning, so it's 1-6. And how do I know all that? Well, 18, 19. Oh, actually, it's not picked off. He goes, and he actually is thrown out by the catcher. Keith Miller's a righty, so it'll be 2-4. My mistake. It was pretty. If it's an 18, if the D20, I don't know if you can see it, is an 18, 19, or 20, then you're going to have a pickoff play at first base. And then you roll again for the pitcher. In this case, it was a 17, but I'm a +2 when Oliver is catching because he's a good defensively, so he's like a +2. But I don't know if it applies to stolen bases, right? Because Keith Miller is a 17 stolen bases. Actually, he's a -2. I'm sorry, not a +2. It's a -2. He's a -2 to the steal. So Keith Miller goes from a 17 because of Oliver to a 15. And since I rolled 17, that's higher than the 15 on his card. The modified 17 is a 15, and the 17 is higher, so he's out at second. So he singles, tries to steal, and that's not. Wait a second. It should be Jeffries. Yeah, it should be Jeffries. And Jeffries was a 17 as well. Okay, so they're both 17s. Yeah, because Jeffries was caught twice, and Keith Miller was caught 3 times. One has 11 stolen bases, one has 16. All right, here's Keith Miller, nobody on, 1 out, 62, strike 3. Got him. Oh, no, it is a grounder. Grounder 2, he's a righty, grounder short. On the 13, I looked at 61. It was really 62 that I rolled. All right, so 2 out. And here is Tim Tuffle, who's 0 for 2, and he will be 0 for 3, 52. That's an error check. Shortstop, his error number is very short, very low, so Larkin's a good shortstop, 0-1. So no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Quinones, the bottom of the order. Quinones, the pitcher, and then the top of the order, Sabo. And a 63 will be a pop-up, and that'll be to the first baseman. Right side, Marshall grabs it in fair ground. Here's Browning now, the pitcher, with a 26, and against a righty, that's a base hit. Otherwise, it's a ground ball to first base. Played by Marshall, steps on the bag ahead of Browning, not running his hardest. 2 out, nobody on. And here's Sabo. Sabo with a 26 against a lefty. That's check swing and a little blooper that drops in. So a base hit for Sabo. Check swing, Texas leaguer. 2 out, 1 on. Billy Hatcher. Hatcher today is 0 for 2. Reached on an error and popped up to the catcher. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Scores 3-2. Here's a pitch from Ojeda. And that's a 15, which will be a grounder right to the 3 with a righty. That's going to be the third baseman. Sabo up with it. I'm sorry, not Sabo. Third base. It's the Mets' third base. Tuffle, and that retires aside. No runs. 1 hit, 1 left. Top of the sixth. Here we come. And Digi dugout score sheets have very, very small inning numbers, column inning numbers. So I usually have to write them in there to know what is going on. Really tiny. And I talked to them about that. They said, yeah, a lot of guys have complained about that. We'll see what we can do in the future. Tim Tuffle. Oh, no. It is Kevin McReynolds. Browning. He's in the 6th inning. So far, he's allowed 2 earned runs. And 62 will be a fly ball to right. Over near the line is O'Neill, and he makes the grab. 1 away. Here's Darryl Strawberry with a 64. That'll be a fly ball. He's a righty, and that will go to O'Neill in the gap on the run, and O'Neill comes up with a nice running catch. Paul O'Neill looking sharp, flashing the leather. So back-to-back flyouts to right, one near the line and a harder one and to his opposite side where he had to go to his right, and he was able to run it down. And O'Neill is famous for kicking the ball, for into the infield. That's a funny video. You can watch that on YouTube. Just run a search for O'Neill kicks ball. Here's Mike Marshall, who is 2 for 2 today, but he's been thrown out twice at the plate. Mike Marshall's not having a good day. Now, he is an A. He's not a slow guy. And that's a 46 with a 4, and that's a drive in the gap, and that's going to split the outfield. There's 1 hop off the wall. Digging for second is Marshall. Here comes the throw and the tag, and he is safe. 3 for 3 on the day from Mike Marshall, and he's the tying run. Can he be thrown out at the plate for the 3rd time? Let's see what happens. Kevin Elster's up. Elster, a 207 hitter, but a starter nonetheless, played 92 games. That tells me that he was injured, because he has 314 at bats in 92 games, and that pretty much represents a starter who bats at the bottom of the lineup. So the other shortstop who played was Howard Johnson, played 63 games. And Hojo may be injured. I'm not sure why he's not playing in this game. He is a switch hitter. He may be injured right now. All right, so let's do it. 6th inning. Here's Kevin Elster, the pitch from Browning, and that is a 33, which is ball 4. He walks. So Elster shows some patience and works a walk in. Now we got 1st and 2nd with Todd Hundley and 2 outs. So there's a little pressure on Tom Browning here in the top of the 6th inning. The tying run is in scoring position. And then the go-ahead run is at first base. So Todd Hundley is a big batter here for Tom Browning. See if he can get out of trouble. Here's the pitch, and a 16. He does. Strike 3. And he gets him with the high fastball, Hundley. A big swing, but misses the ball completely, and no runs, 2 hits. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, 2 men left. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 3-2. Excellent game we got going here. So a big pitch by Tom Browning. Now, Tom Browning was pretty much the ace of the staff, but had a pretty high ERA, although his whip was fairly low. So it's interesting. His whip was low, didn't walk a lot of guys, but he did give up quite a few hits. He was 15-9, but his ERA was about 3.80, 3.90. So he was always up there around 4 runs a game. All right, so here's Barry Larkin leading off against Bobby Ojeda. Here's a pitch, and a 51 is a strikeout. That's actually an error number. 51, 52, and 53 are error. Well, 51, 52 are error numbers. 51, 52 are error. You check the error on the player's card. The way I do it, I just pull a card. It tells me who the error is potentially on. And for 53, it's a range check. Usually high numbers are hits and low numbers are guys get to it. Unless you have somebody like really outstanding, he'll have a high number out in the outfield or in the infield. Eric Davis with 1 out, nobody on. Eric Davis is 1 for 2 with a 3-run home run, and will he hit another one? Looks like he won't. He's going to strike out. Back-to-back Ks for Bobby Ojeda, who's looking sharp today. Bobby Ojeda with only a interesting season. He only started 12 games, so he came off the out of the bullpen later on in the year. I have a feeling he began the season as a starter, and when he was not successful, they put him in the bullpen, and he had more success there. His WHIP was 1.38, almost 1.4. His record was 7-6. So that's the feeling that I'm getting with Ojeda in 1990, because he was a one of the key starters for the Mets throughout the late 80s. But it seems that by 90 he started to fizzle out, and they recognized that, and they put him in the bullpen right away. And I don't know where he goes after that. I got to look. But there's 2 outs. Nobody on. Todd Benzinger. Benzinger is 1 for 2 today. Let's see what he can do. Here's a pitch, and a snake eyes is going to be a ground ball to the first base. To snake at 13. It's the shortstop. Up with it is Elster, and he throws out Benzinger. 3 up and 3 down. Top of the 7th, here we come. Excellent game, 3-2. Let's see what happens. Now we have a situation where the pitcher is up. And you know what? He's almost out of batters faced. I mean, he's got 4 more batters faced, and he could do more depending on if he allows any walks. But I don't know. This is lead off the inning. It's the 7th. They're down by 1 run. I think I want to pinch hit here. I'm leaning towards pinch hitting, so I'm going to grab the roster, make sure the guys I use are on the roster. Take me a second. Yes, I'm sharing some tips. So Mark Carrion is going to come in and to pinch hit for Ojeda. So he's out, and the new pitcher will be most likely Machado or Pena. And the way I figure that out is I kind of look at who has the most. Pena had a lot. He's not a save guy really, so I'll bring in Pena, and then I'll bring in Machado as well later. So I got Pena and Machado, depending on who's batting. Now Mark Carrion is going to hit, and the way I'll do it is Mark Carrion hits. I do a little squiggly line in the box where he's hitting, but I'll also write the inning in the 7th. And I like to do that for pitchers and also batters. So when I bring in, let's see who will be batting. It'll be lefty, a righty, and a switch hitter. But O'Neill's my big guy. So I'm going to bring in the lefty. Who did I say it was? I wanted to bring in Pena, and Pena is Pena's a righty. Machado's a righty. I could bring in Musselman. Where's Musselman here? Musselman is I'll bring in Musselman. He's a lefty. So I'll bring in Musselman to at least face the Paul O'Neill. And you'll see how I'll do it. A Musselman. And I'll write he'll be coming in the 7th inning. And he will be a B pitcher because he's a lefty. All right. So then... So let's continue. Mark Carrion versus Tom Browning. Now I also have some relievers warming up in the bullpen for the Reds. It's going to be a snake eyes, and that's going to be a fly ball to left field in the gap, and over is Davis. Davis got a good read on that ball right off the bat and got to the spot, makes the catch. Kim Tuffle with 1 out now, and a 55 is going to be a drive, and that's going to be over the center fielder's head and off the base of the wall and into second base. Oh, no, shouldn't be tough. Wait a second. Let me go. Where's Carrion? It was Carrion. That was correct. Where's the top of the order? What did I do here? Hold on. I'm missing Jeffries. And you know where I did with Jeffries probably? I probably put him down here. I bet you he's in here somewhere. Yep. So Jeffries is there, and a 55 off Jeffries is a double as well. So he's good. But he had a chance for a triple, so it's a 1-out double Jeffries is on at second. He's a tying run. So we will be going to, and Keith Miller's up next. Keith Miller also probably left in here somewhere. There he is. I put a couple of guys down here in the wrong spot. Keith Miller's coming up. He's a righty. And I think I'm going to go to Dibble, who's a righty. I'm going to go to the bullpen. So that's it for Brownie. He goes 6 1/3. But I'm going to the Nasty Boys. Going to the Nasty Boys. Hoping that they are ready. And let's see, Dibble is ready. So he will be coming in to face the righty. Keith Miller. All right, here's Rob Dibble. We didn't roll to see what kind of stuff he has. Let me get that out of the way. I have a lot of other cards here from other games. All right, there we go. Let's roll, and he will have his B stuff. So Dibble in the 7th have his B stuff. And let's see what happens. He faces Keith Miller. Tying run at second base, and here's the pitch. Now, I could pinch hit for him with Daryl Boston. Could pinch hit for him, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll put Boston in center field. So Boston's going to pinch hit, and then he's going to come into play center. So he will pinch hit in the 7th. Daryl Boston. See what happens. Here's a pitch. And that's a 15, and that's a ground ball to the first baseman. It will allow Jeffries to move over to third. So Benzinger makes the play. And he will play, of course, center field. And here's Tim Teufel, a righty. Now, I could also pinch hit for Teufel. And then who would I have to play third base? Hold on. I think Magadan can pinch hit. Let's see. But at this point, I can bring in a lefty. So do I want Teufel hitting against a righty, or do I want a lefty coming in? Now, let me just make sure. Dibble is a B, so let me make sure I have his B column that I'm using. So far, I didn't use the pitcher's column. So here he will be a B. Now, I could bring in a lefty like a Carlton. Or now Myers I won't use yet. I'll use him in the 9th. But I could bring in Carlton. I don't know that I will. I think I'm just going to let Dibble face. If Dibble faces Magadan, and I think Magadan can play third base as well. Let me see. Yeah, Dave Magadan is the third baseman. So I'm going to let Magadan. Teufel against Dibble, or force me to bring in Carlton to face Magadan, and Carlton could be an A, which will be totally lights out. I think I'm gonna go with Teufel against Dibble. Here's a pitch. Oh, here's a pitch, and a 52 and a 4 will be strike 3. Big pitch, and that ends the inning. So Dibble comes in and dominates, gets a weak grounder to first, and then strikes out Teufel. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and we move to the bottom of the 7th. So what a game. Excellent game. Jeff Musselman's coming in. And did we say what he was? Yeah, he's a B, so we got to fix this. The reason I use these little yellow Post-its to do this is because it just allows me to focus better on the column, so I don't have to keep on looking or thinking about it. I mean, you don't have to use them. I just do it that way. I'm guaranteed not to make an error. All right, here's Paul O'Neill leading off. Paul O'Neill against Jeff Musselman, the lefty. And here's a pitch. And that's a 44. That's line base hit. So O'Neill rips one off the lefty. And he has a chance for a steal. There he goes. And now I don't know what Hundley is. Hundley could throw him out. And Hundley is a W arm, so that's going to the advantage will go to O'Neill. He'll steal second. So O'Neill with a single and a stolen base gets the second base. That's an important insurance run. Here comes Al Oliver, who's a good bunter, and we're going to make him help him bunt. And he does bunt to the first baseman, and that puts the insurance run at third now. And it's going to be 3-4 because that 3 tells us it's to the first baseman. So now we have Quinones, who's a switch hitter. And we're going to let him bat, and here's a pitch, and that is a 24, which is usually a hit by pitch number. He's +1, but it's 1-4, so that's a 5. We rolled an 11, so it's a ground ball to. So wait, hold on. Infield is in. Infield is in with an 11, and okay, so the runner will advance on this, even though the infield's in. So the run scores. So that's a big run, 4-2 now. And it's an RBI, ground out to second base for Quinones. RBI, put a little dot. And now it's going to be a pinch hitter because we're going to bring in Carlton. Actually, you know what? We're going to let Dibble bat. Dibble is a 1 batter. Let's see if we need his card. 45. It'll be probably he's a 1 batter, so we're going to use generic card number. I want Dibble to go 1 more inning. Let's see, I can't find the 1. We may just use a 2. Oh, there it is. I found the 1. And the 145 is an out. So it's going to be a 13, which is he's a lefty batter. It's going to be a ground out to first baseman to retire the side. So 1 run on 1 hit, a stolen base, a sacrifice, and then a ground ball RBI. It's 4-2. We go to the top of the 8th. All right, and who leads off? McReynolds versus Dibble. I need Dibble to go 1 more inning, and then I'll bring in Myers. Here's the pitch, and a 21 is a ground ball to third, scooped up by Sabo on target to Benzinger for 1 out. Darryl Strawberry, the lefty, with a 31 that's bounced up the middle, and it's a base hit. So Strawberry's on with a single. Tying run is now Mike Marshall at the plate. Good, not great power, but good power. Proportionally, would have probably had 24 home runs on the season. He played only 53 games. I have a feeling he was injured or he was traded. I'm not sure that season. But Mike Marshall is at the plate, a righty versus the righty Dibble. And here's the pitch, and that's a 41. That'll be ball 4. So he walks. The tying runs are now on base, and that, I think, is going to be it for Dibble. We're bringing in Carlton here in the 8th. Carlton will be an A pitcher. He's a lefty. Norm Carlton. And Elster's coming up, but I believe we are going to pinch hit for Elster. But I don't know who can play those positions. Magadan, we never brought in Magadan. Magadan can play third. And then Tuffle, I believe, can play short. So that's what we can do. So let's, but we don't want to bring in a lefty. The only righty we have on the bench is a switch hitter, Johnson. We could bring in Hojo. Carry on, we already used. So we're going to bring in Hojo and then let Hojo play shortstop. Why Hojo's not starting? He's probably injured. But you know what? I'm still going to push him out there because I'm not totally sure what was going on at that time. But he did have he played in 154 games, so maybe they're resting him or I don't know. But we're going to use him as a pinch hitter here, and then he can go out there and play shortstop. So he will. So Hojo. I don't like that pen. It's terrible. So he will pinch hit in the 8th inning. Do a little squiggly line here. Carlton is coming in. So we got lefty versus Hojo, a switch hitter batting from the right side. It has good power, hits pitchers from both sides on his splits. And he's had 23 home runs, 90 RBIs, 69 walks, 244 average. So didn't have a great season. And let's do it. Hojo Howard Johnson versus Norm Carlton with 2 on, 1 out, top of the 8th. The Reds lead it 4-2. It's in the dice. And the dice tells us that it's a pop-up middle infield. Both Larkin and Quinones come together, but it's Quinones who calls them off. So that's 2 out. Big pitch by Norm Carlton. And now it's Todd Hundley. Todd Hundley is a switch hitter. He'll be batting from the right side against Norm Carlton. And here's the pitch. The set and deals. And a 65. It's going to be an out. He didn't hit any home runs. That's a home run number. That's a fly ball. Cracks one to left. And over is left fielder Davis. Sets under it and makes the catch. So no runs. 1 hit, 2 left. And wow, this game is a pretty good game. The Mets are threatening constantly, and the Reds keep on bringing in relievers to kind of fend off those threats. So Musselman pitched an inning, gave up a run. Sabo is up, a lefty, a righty, and a righty. So we're going to bring in a new pitcher for the Mets in the 8th inning. He'll be an A pitcher. It will be Pena. We said we were going to bring in Pena first because he had more appearances, and he will be an A, and he will be facing 3 righties with good power. Hatcher not so much, but Sabo has good power. All right, so here goes. Sabo faces Alejandro Pena. We got 52 games he pitched in, and that's a 13, which will be a ground ball to short. Scooped up by Hojo, who's playing short now. And over to first. High throw, but a nice stretch by Marshall. Billy Hatcher's next. He's 0 for 3 on the day, and he'll pick up. Nope, he won't pick up a hit here. He swings and misses. Curveball got him. Sweet curveball from Alejandro Pena for the Mets. Now it's Barry Larkin. He's 0 for 3. There's the pitch. And Larkin with a 24. That's a hit by pitch number. A 9. He's -2. It's 1-7, -2. 1-5. We roll a 9. That's a fly ball to right. And Strawberry's right there. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the top of the 9th in a very exciting game. We're going to get a pinch hitter to lead it off against Randy Myers is coming in. Is Myers available? Should be available. And Myers is available, so he will come in for the save. Let's see what happens. See what kind of stuff he will have. He will have his A stuff. So we'll grab one of these over here on the right, just cover it up. So he's got his best stuff, but he still walks a bunch of guys. So it still doesn't give up many home runs, doesn't give up many hits, but does walk a couple. So that's his biggest weakness. Carrion already pinch hit. So we're going to go grab another pinch hitter. And again, I don't have any righties. I used up all my righties. I'm going to have to bring in a lefty now. Johnson hit, Carrion hit. So I'm going to bring in a Magadan already. Oh, Magadan didn't even come in. I'm going to bring in Darryl Boston. So Boston pinch hit in the 9th. And let's see what happens. See if he can hit the lefty Myers, his ERA is like 0.090. Something crazy. He's been like lights out this season in my replay. Again, he gives up walks, but then strikes out the side, so makes it exciting. So let's see, Darryl Boston, which I cannot find anywhere all of a sudden. Yeah, I couldn't find Boston because he pinch hit and he's playing center field. That's why. Okay, so it's going to be Dave Magadan coming in. So let me fix that. All right, so this game would be tied right now if it wasn't for Mike Marshall being thrown out twice at the plate early on in the game. In the second, he was thrown out by the center fielder Hatcher, and then later he's thrown out by Davis playing left field. And scores 4-2. We're in the top of the ninth. It's Randy Myers, one of the nasty boys. They've all made an appearance in this game. Carlton went .2. Now we have Myers, who will have his ace stuff, and he's here in the ninth. And he will face pinch hitter Dave Magadan. See what happens. Here's a pitch, and that is a 15, which will be a strikeout. Actually, no. It's going to be a fly ball to the left. And it's Eric Davis under it, one away. Jeffries now. Randy Myers takes the sign and winds and deals against Greg Jeffries, batting from the right side, and that is a 66. And that's a deep drive to left field, and that ball is gone, 4-3. So, wow, finally Myers gives up a run, making the score 4-3, a solo home run by Greg Jeffries. Here in the top of the ninth, Jeffries hit 15 home runs that season. Jeffries batted .283 with 68 RBIs. Darryl Boston is next, and he came in. He pinch hit in the seventh, so he will continue to bat. Darryl Boston versus Randy Myers, 1 out, nobody on, and it's a 12, which will be a ground ball to the first baseman, Benzinger, and flips to Myers covering. Myers just beats the speedy Darryl Boston. 2 away, so the Mets are down to their last out here with the Reds leading 4-3 in the top of the ninth inning. It is Tim Teufel, who's got good power. Tim Teufel's got a home run at 66. He had 10 home runs and 175 at bats, so equivalent, that would have been maybe a 32-33 home run season if he had played the whole season. So let's do it. Here's the pitch, and that's a 56. Struck him out, and the ball game is over. Randy Myers gives up a run, a home run, but then comes back and strikes out Tim Teufel to end the ball game, to pick up a save. The win goes to Browning, and 1 run on 1 hit in that ninth inning. So let's quickly take a look at what we got here. So the Reds give up 3 runs. They score 4 runs on how many hits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on 6 hits. And did they make any errors? No errors on some excellent defense. A couple of assists are picked up by the outfielders. And 1 error for the Mets, the error by the pitcher. And hits for the Mets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the Mets have out-hit the Reds, but somehow they can't capitalize. I bet they leave a bunch of base runners on base. And so Myers pitches 1 inning, 1.0. Dibble went 1 as well. 1.0 gave up a hit and a walk and a strikeout. No earned runs. Myers gives up an earned run. Carlton went 2/3 of an inning, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Browning won 6, gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hits in 6 innings, but gave up only 2 runs, 2 earned runs. He didn't walk that many, only 2, walked 2. Struck out 1, 2, 3, 4. So Browning picks up a victory, doesn't pitch poorly, gives up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. That's a quality start. And the Reds come out on top by a score of 4-3. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors, while the Mets had 3 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error. And the Reds improved their record to 28-13, while the Mets dropped down 1 to 27-16. And that's it. Now we're going to play another team. I can't remember who it is, but I got to put the Mets away. Thanks for watching. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Stay well and roll those dice. Remember to join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group. Also, all its affiliated groups like the Fall Classic group and several other groups as well. And like and subscribe to my channel so you can continue to receive some cool, fun, tabletop, informative action. I will see you guys soon. Take care.